Welcome to Trial by Wine. We take a closer look at crimes that highlight how fascinating humans can be. Schmitty, Swanee and Clarky visit crimes and run them through their jury of three, debating both sides of the case to agree an appropriate, if totally fictitious, sentence. Please be advised, Trial by Wine may include explicit or disturbing content and will include drunken rambling. Listener discretion is advised. All right, how are we?
Not too bad, thank you.
We're good.
Yeah, a little bit thrown by those login technicalities, but
I know.
other than that, quite good and ready to go.
Excellent. Have we got any news?
Well, it's fucked.
We've been talking about
Like
that
every
all
week.
year. Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
But someone then pops up and says, "Hold my beer," and it's all crazy again.
And that's not from one week to the next. That's usually within the same week.
Yeah.
It just moves at such pace. I've kind of sort of
I've
zoned
got to
out
stop.
a bit at the moment.
Yeah, same.
So I don't
can't.
actually
It's not
know.
good for my mental health.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm
If
the
I don't
same.
know, it actually doesn't make a great deal of difference to my day-to-day life.
Saturday morning,
Unless,
I
you
was
know,
awoken
keep
by
petrol in.
Tony on the phone telling me that that's okay because Trump and Iran have said that the Strait of
They're opening
Hormuz
the
is
Strait of
open.
Hormuz.
Great. By the evening, oh no, it's closed again.
Yep.
Could you just not give me the updates? You know,
I know.
just
Is
don't
there a
need to know.
boom gate?
It's a blockade or something, yeah.
8
I mean,
years
it's
married
frankly,
today.
oh, congratulations. Happy
What was that?
anniversary. 8 years
8
married
years
today.
married today.
Is that right? Happy birthday, lovers.
Well, that
That's all right.
is interesting and good news, yes.
We have been together for 1 million, though. So that doesn't even really
Yeah.
represent much, does it? I suppose that represents the...
It's a quarter,
Globally.
is it now? 30 years you've been together?
31.
Wow.
That means
What's
I've
that
known
look
you
on
for
your face?
I've known
You
you
get
for
less.
31 years.
You get less for murder.
No, because I met you in the same year. And so I'm like, so we've known each other
October.
30, yeah, towards the end. Our anniversary is
Yeah.
later. Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah,
But
that's right. Yeah.
I
There's
can't believe
one
it's 31 years. That's the bit.
Yeah.
It was like, what?
There's something that's made me feel very old, which relates to this exact time period. A friend of mine's been sending me stuff. It's apparently, and it's nothing that's even crossed my mind in decades, literally. But the show, which was on a Saturday morning on the ABC called Recovery, is
No.
30 years
Yes.
old today. I totally forgot about it. You'll remember when you see the guy who did it. So it was
Dylan,
like
who had his
Dylan,
eyebrow pierced.
pierced or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was very frenetic. And I don't think I even particularly watched it. I might have. I don't know. You certainly would have been on your phone. They're doing something each day this week, because it's been 30 years. And the first person that they show him interviewing is, is it Daniel Johns from Silverchair? He is a child.
Oh, they were
And
little. Yeah.
And then seeing Kylie Minogue that young, I got such a rude shock because I don't think I'm that old. And then I go, oh my
Yeah.
God, it's 3 decades. It's not
Yeah.
20 years. It's not 15. It's 3 full decades. And I
And
went,
you were a young adult then.
I know. And I'm like, God,
I'm so old, yeah.
I'm so old because and they were so young. It was such a long time ago now. Because sometimes I think, the 90s, it was, it's not like it's the 80s. That feels like it's further over the 90s, it's kind of, anyway.
It was a bloody long time ago.
I
Yep.
know. So well done, boys, for being together that long.
Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you.
I don't really have any other news, so I suppose we should introduce ourselves. I'm Schmitty.
I'm Swanee.
And I'm Clarky, and together we are
Trial
by
by
Wine. And what are we drinking?
Not wine.
First Coke Zero for the day.
Blood Zero.
Yes.
And what about you, Clarky? Not wine.
We're having Soda Stream and Lemon Lime and Bitters. Remember you said that they were going to discontinue it?
Yeah, the Schweppes
Yes.
Yeah,
one.
I rushed out and stocked up, so we've got like three.
Oh, good, because
three
I can't get
bottles
it
of-
anywhere. I can't get
Oh,
it
really?
anywhere. Yeah.
What?
Gone from Coles and Woolworths in Sunbury.
That's outrageous. I'll check up here and see if I can send you a box.
Good. I really like the Sunkissed
A
one,
care
but I'll
pack.
take whatever I get. I have gone on to an oldie but a goodie.
A Grunter's Wipeout.
Yeah, it's not even a binger.
You're confusing me because it's in a glass.
It's a cruiser, a mango chutney.
Is it one of your sun-kissed kind
It
of...
absolutely
mongrels?
is a mango chutney.
It is,
Absolutely.
That's what got me. It threw me because it was in the glass already.
Turn the lights off. Does it glow?
No, it doesn't. But I have to not show you the can because the can's just rude. Remember it used to be in a neat little bottle?
In a bottle. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Now it's in a rude
It's a
can.
POV
so
can.
It's
Budget.
a can. Yeah.
You'd be
And
better
yet-
off doing
and
your,
yet
your
it's not
sun-kissed
budget.
mongrel or whatever it was I thought you would make.
They're very expensive. They're very expensive. So, but anyway, I bought this and some low sugar ginger beers for a little barbecue I had the other day, and I bought it because I thought, well, often you get leftover grog, and at least I know I can drink this stuff. And most of it got left over, so lucky me. But of course, as we know, next week I'm going under the knife, so I won't be drinking for a while.
Of course, it's next week.
I got my will signed today, so that's all
Oh,
sorted.
honey.
Well, just on the off chance that I die. As I said to the guys at work today, I was saying this is my last,
Tell it. Will and testament.
big meeting for the
All
whole
right.
group of people. And I said, so just FYI, if I die, I had a great life, was very lucky, and I didn't suffer in any way. I didn't go to cancer or anything down that route or anything like that. And I was, born into a great life of privilege. So thank you very much for everything. And then I telling Clarky this before, and he goes, "Oh, that assumes you don't die from like complications later." I'm like, "Thanks,
No,
mate."
I didn't say that. I said that assumes you die when you're under.
When you're under, that's right. So the other alternative is dying from complications later, where I
or
do
getting your
experience
backpack caught in a bus and not
There is
having the
that.
core strength to keep your feet off the ground.
Oh, I definitely wouldn't have had my core strength to
Me
get my
neither.
feet off the ground.
I'd hate to think what train smash I'd end up like.
No, that would be awful. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't know what I was talking about that. Anyway, yeah. So
What day are you in
I'm
surgery?
Thursday. Yeah. Has anyone got a story?
I don't.
I've got.
Imagine if we get this, but we don't.
Clarky's got one. Yeah, that would be a bit embarrassing. I know I happen to have one just in case, but yeah. Well, I have one anyway because I did say, could we try and do two? So go on, Clarky. Do you want to do yours first?
I sure do. Maybe we should. Do you want to have a wine? Yep.
Yes, of course you should have a wine.
You choose.
What if I die next week?
Oh, don't say that. I find that you're upsetting me. Actually, you're upsetting me. But can you make sure you leave? Can you leave me something something that's very you?
A mango chutney.
I'll make a note.
No.
All of my off the shoulder.
Oh
tops.
yes. I'll put a because I'll keep the little lot of those. Yeah, I just need that. I know what I'd be looking for.
Clarky, you can contact the family and say all the boat neck
off the shoulder stuff.
tops for Swanee.
Anything circa early 2000 wardrobe.
Swanee, you just tell me
I'll
what
put
you
it in
want
a
and I'll
box.
say to the family, Schmitty left that to her.
I'll put it in a box before next week and I'll mark
do
it
not
Swanee.
do that. Do not
And then
do that.
Then it's there for you.
Scares me. Do not.
I said this the last time too, FYI. So when I had my surgery last time, I had the same fear and I didn't die then. So I probably won't die this time either. But on the off chance, I love you both,
You might be
We love you
healthier
too.
this time
It's
than
been a-
last, are you? Do you think you could be healthier this time than
I'm
last?
certainly thinner. I'm 10 kilos lighter. Yep.
And were you smoking before the last one or had you stopped before the last
Absolutely,
one?
I was smoking. Yeah.
Well, there you go. You probably,
Yeah, but I was younger. That
There is
offset
that.
it a little bit.
Yeah,
It's been a cracking 30 and a half years if you do go.
I know, hasn't it? Yeah, we've had good times. And as I said to my extended team today, if I do die, I expect you all to go to my funeral and cry buckets. And then go to the wake and have some drinks and a laugh.
Champagne!
Champagne for all, yeah. My booze might have showed up. I've ordered a couple of cases.
Will
so,
there be like a musical theatre theme to
Of
the
course there will.
Yeah.
My sister will be doing it. Of course there will. Oh, look, there we go. So we've got a
Red
Pinot
Craw.
Noir, Red Craw Port Noir. Very
Point
nice.
Newer, yeah, that's it.
Very nice, very nice. Cool. So the boys are switching from the Lemon Lime Bitters and Soda Stream into something a bit more fitting for our title, for our
Yes, from
name.
the Peninsula,
Trial by
darling.
One. And it's from the Peninsula. All right, Clarky. Well, when you're ready,
All
if
right,
you'd
so
like
I'll
to
just take it
tell
away
us a
if you
story.
like.
Yeah, go for your life.
Yeah. So I'm going to go straight in with my sources just to get that bit out of the way. So my sources are Wikipedia, news.ammomama.com. Sounds like ammo mama, like ammunition, but it's A-M-O mama. So I'm not sure. Anyway.
Oh, not double M. Yeah, okay.
Forgotten. She's not like she's got a whole lot of
Dugga,
artillery.
dugga, 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 dugga.
War Mama, Forgotten Chapters, grunge.com, newsbreak.com, Facebook, and justice.vic.gov.
Sounds like it could be an Australian story.
Well, maybe, but let's wait and see. So we've heard some pretty dark stories of late, and I thought it might be nice to not go that dark. So let's go with a story that doesn't have murder or aggravated rape, which is nice and refreshing. So this story also is a little different to ones we've done previously because arguably
There's no aggravated rape or murder.
Yeah, correct. There's actually arguably there's no crime.
Oh,
It's one of those.
I do think that you'll find the crime, and I do think that you'll agree that what went on is not okay.
yeah.
But it's a good point for discussion later on.
Okay.
So before I get started with the story, I'd like to give you two definitions, just so that we're all starting from the same point. So the first one is, the first word I'm going to give you a definition for is grooming.
Oh.
And this definition comes from the Victorian Government's Justice website. I chose to use this definition as the Victorian Government introduced the crime of grooming for sexual conduct with a child under 16 as an offence in 2014. So actually referring to a definition that does in fact define a crime.
Yep.
So what is grooming? The offence of grooming concerns predatory conduct undertaken to prepare a child for sexual activity at a later time. The offence applies where the adult communicates by words or conduct with a child under the age of 16 years or with a person who has care, supervision or authority for the child with the intention of facilitating the child's involvement in sexual conduct, either with the groomer or another adult. Think Ghislaine Maxwell.
Was it you, Swanee, saying now we all know how to pronounce her name? Ghislaine.
Ghislaine.
Oh,
Ghislaine
gosh.
Maxwell.
I don't remember saying it, but it sounds like the same.
Swanee and I caught up on, was it last weekend?
Yes,
Was
the
it
weekend
lovely?
before.
In Melbourne.
Oh,
Weekend
that's right.
before,
Of course
my
you
God,
did.
time went fast.
Yes.
How was it?
lovely. It was great.
Very nice. It was lovely.
Nice.
Hi, T.
Excellent.
Sort
And
of.
we had some Mexican and
Mexican,
we did go to the art gallery.
Did you drop it like
Very
it's hot?
highbrow. No,
No, there was none of that.
Hip replacement
There's
next
none of
week,
that.
remember?
Yeah.
Wait till I get new hips, then I'll drop it like it's hot. Yep.
Drop it like it's barely warm?
Yeah, I'll do that too. Yep. More likely at my age. Yep. Sorry, Ghislaine Maxwell. So just like her.
Ghislaine, yeah.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Grooming does not necessarily involve any sexual activity or even discussion of sexual activity. For example, it may only involve establishing a relationship with the child, parent, or carer for the purpose of facilitating sexual activity at a later time. The sexual conduct must constitute an indictable sexual offence. This includes offences such as sexual penetration of a child, indecent assault, and indecent act in the presence of a child. It does not include summary offences such as upskirting and indecent behaviour in public.
I don't know why, but
I know that
do
you
you groom
announced at the
someone to upskirt them? Sorry, go on.
I know that you announced at the outset that we weren't going to be doing any aggravated rape, but I feel like we're sort of in a territory. We're back in a territory again. It's not like we're on another planet. It's like
We're certainly in the same house.
That's right. We're certainly in like a adjoining county.
Yeah, that's right. Who can commit the offence? The offence can be committed by any person aged 18 years or over. It does not apply to communication between people who are both 18 years of age.
Okay.
What age are the children who are protected by the offence? The offence applies to communication with children under 16 years, but not communication with 16 and 17-year-old children. The distinction between children aged below 16 and those aged 16 or 17
As you can
reflects
consent
the
to
general
sex.
age of consent, 16
Okay.
years, recognised by the criminal law in relation to sexual offences. All right, we all clear on grooming? I feel like we're experts.
Kind of, yeah. Yep. Experts is a stretch, but sure.
Second definition I'd like to introduce is child abuse.
Mm.
The World Health Organization defines child
Funny, I had the
abuse
same
as
Mm.
the World Health Organization defines child abuse as all forms of physical and or emotional ill treatment, sexual abuse, neglect or negligent treatment, or commercial or other exploitation, resulting in actual or potential harm to the child's health, survival, development, or dignity in the context of a relationship of responsibility, power, or trust. Got that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. In Victoria, there are two legal systems set up to respond and prevent child abuse and neglect. The first system is the civil legal system, which typically focuses on prevention and protection before things get worse. And the criminal legal system,
Bum, bum.
heinous, typically focusing on events that have already occurred, which lead to punishment and incarceration. Guess how many subtypes of child abuse there are?
I don't know, 10? 2.
15.
No, I'm getting it.
It's kind of in between 10 and 2. It's 5. So there are 5 types of child abuse, 5 subtypes: physical abuse, emotional abuse, neglect, sexual abuse, and exposure to family violence.
It's actually an accident. Sorry, that was an accident, but it was perfect.
Was it? I didn't think it sounded like
I
an
thought it
accident.
was
Perfect.
deliberate. Was that a boo?
It was a boo. It was an accidental boo. I was trying to find your da-does, and then next thing I know, I went, oh no, something's happening, and I couldn't stop it. And I thought, I don't know what's
Something's happening. I can't stop it.
Boo. Sorry.
That was perfect.
Yeah, it was. Good timing. Yes, you were saying?
Right. So much of what I read regarding child abuse focused on sexual abuse, particularly in relation to the criminal legal system.
Mm.
Anyway, so that's my 2 definitions out of the way. Let's get on with it.
Okay.
And like I feel like a few of my stories of late, this week's story was inspired by a message I received from a friend that went like this.
Here we go. Yep.
Hello there. I finally started listening to Trial by Wine and loving it. Listen to Dorothy Stratton story, incidentally, episode 12.
So
Grotto
far.
Early days.
Grope in the grotto.
So far away. Yeah. A couple of weeks back, and just came across this about Bo Derek. It makes you wonder how many other stars began like this.
Oh, most of them.
And then she sent me a link to a Facebook story that had a picture of Bo Derek with the headline, "She was 16, he was 47 and married."
Mm.
Is this John Derek?
Hold the phone.
Hollywood called it a love story. Today we recognise the word they should have used, grooming.
There's also the case of the guy, is it Bill Wyman and Mandy in the UK? I'll have to look up who they were. And everyone thought she was staying. She was 14, I think, when she met him.
Yeah, what's her face? Presley.
Priscilla.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of these unfortunate stories. But the thing that I'm surprised at is that all my youth, which is sort of from the 70s up, right? So a period where we were closer to when there's happening, a lot more allowance of it happening. The idea of a casting couch was just known, like
normal.
the idea. Yeah. And so, with no disrespect and not minimizing the abuse that people have experienced in Hollywood, but it doesn't come as a surprise that Harvey Weinstein was making young women have sex with him, to get roles and whatever. There was nothing surprising. Many Hollywood stars from the 40s, 50s, etc., would have had to do the same thing. Not saying it's right. Just saying.
So I think you've got
forever.
I think you've got the gist of where this episode's going.
Okay.
Yes.
Swanee's found something that horrified.
I know, because this was like, you must remember
pop culture now. She's in her element now. Yeah.
So there was Mandy Smith, who ended up married to Bill Wyman in the UK. He was the Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones, right.
Yeah. And I don't remember
Why
this,
aren't
but it
you
says
doing this story? You know all about this. I know nothing about it.
Oh, my God.
She's good at this.
Because I just thought she was beautiful. I didn't give it a whole lot of thought at the time. She met Rolling Stones bassist Bill Wyman when she attended the BPI Awards with her older sister Nicola in 1984 when she was 13 years old. Wyman was 47 and wrote in his 1990 autobiography, "She took my breath away. She was a woman at 13.
Oh, no, she wasn't.
The relationship only became public 2.5 years later when she reached the age of 16, the legal age of consent, and there was a firestorm of controversy. Yes, well, there you go.
So I don't know a lot about celebrities, and I had to Google this one about Bo, and it's only a short little one, but Bo Derek met John Derek on the set of Once Upon a Time, which filmed in 1973, when Bo was 16. At the time, John was 47 and married to Linda Evans. The two became sexually active and married 3 years later and were together for 22 years until he died in 1998.
Linda Evans of Dallas fame?
Dynasty.
Or was it Linda Evans?
Yeah, probably. One of them.
I
She's
thought she
Crystal,
was...
isn't she? She's Crystal.
Okay, maybe. Sorry. Anyway, one of those two, yeah.
I'm unclear.
Okay.
So you could be forgiven for thinking this is just a love story with a big age differential, because they happen and they're real, until
Yeah,
you
do
learn
listing.
that after John divorced Linda Evans, he moved to Germany with Beau so that he would not face prosecution under California's statutory rape laws. Because at 16, Beau was under the age of consent. They returned to America once Beau turned 18, and John was never charged with statutory rape. I think that's shit policing.
Yes and no. Once you're out of someone's jurisdiction, I mean, would they wanted him to be extradited for it? Is that what you think? What you think
Well,
should have
I
happened?
just think there could have been a little bit more done about it, rather than just going, oh, well, she's old enough now, so it doesn't matter.
I think there's definitely a question where the person who the underage person has been coerced into a relationship that they're not in 22 years later. You're like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, look, I think it's
I think
hard
what's-
because they were
what's-
together until he died. So
I suppose more the rape bit, right? So for me, and this is not the legal definition of it, but like she's clearly consented to and remained in that relationship versus someone who literally was young, found themselves in a disproportionate power-based situation where probably they weren't really consenting. Who knows with Bo Derek what she thought? But she stayed with him till he died. But
I think if you're 47 and fishing in the 16-year-old pond,
no, I think that's
you're
just
probably
gross
in the
first
wrong
place.
pond.
I agree.
That's my point. But regardless of how she felt,
And regardless
think-
of whether or not they had a relationship going forward, yeah.
yeah. And
Do you
good
know
on
who
them
she's
for
with
making it
now?
work. Yes, but I can't remember.
Do you know Schmitty who he's with now?
No.
Aiden from Sex and the City. She's been with John Corbett for like 20 years or something.
John Corbett, that's it. Yeah.
She's pretty good looking at her current age. So
Oh,
she's,
yeah.
he's doing all right.
Well, she would have been like on a poster probably on his wall. She was, 10, wasn't she, in that movie?
She was
10.
That's what I always
Yeah.
picture us in 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10. That's the image I've
And
got.
Bolero.
Her running down the beach.
She's very
Yeah.
sexy in
Yeah.
Bolero.
Yeah. Stunning woman.
So my friend followed up the Bo Derek link with another link to the real story of this episode. And that's the story of Anna Marie Patty Duke.
Patty Duke.
It's a story I hadn't heard, but one that is worth sharing.
How do I know Patty Duke? She's an actress?
Well, yeah.
Singer?
Both. No, actress,
Right.
definitely. Oh, no, both. She was in the Patty Duke show. I'll
Right,
tell you
okay.
about her in due course.
I was going to say, I
Good.
know the name, but I can't
No, I
place
don't
it.
know.
So Anna Marie was born on the 14th of December 1946 to Francis and John Duke. Francis was a restaurant cashier who struggled with depression, and John was a taxi driver and handyman who was addicted to alcohol. Francis allegedly once tried to kill the family by leaving the gas on, but the windows were opened and they survived. She kicked John out of her home when Anna Marie was 6, hoping to raise her by herself. But things didn't go quite as planned. A year after kicking John out, Francis met John and Ethel Ross, a married couple who were managers of child stars.
Great.
And they recognised Anna Marie's potential to be a star. So they took her as a client, and they knew that she could make them a lot of money with the right guidance.
What age was that, Clarky? Was she?
6?
Really little. Okay.
Yeah, 6, maybe a little older.
Okay, but little. Yeah, not like.
Yeah, so
12,
that's when
14.
6 when they met.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Rosses started controlling every aspect of her life, including when she slept and what she wore and ate.
Jesus.
But this wasn't
Right.
giving them enough control to make her a star. So they convinced Frances that Anna should move in with them. They gave Frances some money and told her to stay away so as not to upset Anna. Apparently, she would cry uncontrollably or harm herself when Frances was around. Whilst this must have been a heartbreaking decision for Frances, she was poor and single and hoped that the Rosses could give Anna, who was now 8, a better life. So Anna moved in, and Ethel Ross told her that Anna Marie is dead. She said, "You're Patty now," and so Patty Duke was born. Patty rose to fame playing Helen Keller in the 1962 film The Miracle Worker. She won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her portrayal of Helen Keller, making her the youngest person to receive the award. She later starred in the Patty Duke Show, in which she played twin cousins. The show screened until 1966.
Twin cousins?
Twin cousins.
4 people?
I mean, I don't know.
Twin
I
cousins.
never really
of all
watched
of
the
this,
show.
that's the one thing I'm going to focus on now is twin
Well,
cousins. What?
I think it's a very good point to focus on, because what is that?
I don't know. Maybe 2 sets of twins who were cousins. So she played 4 people, maybe.
Maybe the concept of twins wasn't well understood back then. She just played cousins who looked alike.
Yeah. Right.
The show screened until 1966. Following the Patty Duke Show, Duke starred in the notoriously campy Valley of the Dolls feature film and won Emmys for the groundbreaking TV movie My Sweet Charlie. In 1979, Duke returned to The Miracle Worker, this time on TV, and won an Emmy for playing Helen Keller's teacher. She starred in the acclaimed TV miniseries Captains and the Kings and continued to make TV appearances in guest roles, another sitcom, and various TV movies. The point of all of this, because you probably haven't heard of a lot of those, is she was a genuine star with very successful acting career.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, this is a true crime podcast.
Yeah.
I was going to say, well, that's a lovely story. Thank you for letting us know.
Of course, there's got to be a crime somewhere there. So let's go back to when Patty moved in with the Rosses. You'll recall that Ethel changed her name from Anna Marie. Patty later recalled that Ethel took away her name to take away her identity.
Mm-hmm.
They got rid of her New York accent, training her in a repertoire of carefully rehearsed little speeches. And they isolated her. She saw no one but the Rosses except on the set. Patty slept in a cot in the hallway of their home. She had no privacy, no space of her own, no sense that she was anything more than property that the Rosses were storing between performances. Her life was tightly controlled, her every move choreographed. Every night at the dinner table, the Rosses reviewed her behaviour during the day in excruciating detail.
So she got a performance review every day.
Every day.
God, how soul-destroying.
Oh, no. God, could you imagine that? Nothing was ever good enough. They catalogued her mistakes and noted her imperfections.
Oh.
Patty wasn't allowed to have an opinion about anything, including about daily activities, such as how she bathed and what she wore. This was all decided by the Rosses. And when Patty was 13, the Rosses introduced her to prescription medications.
Oh.
They would give her stimulants in the morning so that she could perform with energy throughout her long rehearsals, making her the bright and bubbly child that audiences expected. And then they would give her sedatives at night, not just to help her sleep, but to control when she slept, regardless of whether she needed it or not. And they also gave her alcohol.
At
one point,
8 years old or something?
No, this is 13, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine then.
Yeah. I mean,
Kidding.
What's who was it? Nancy Grace? Was it that? Was she the one?
Not Nancy Grace, Natalia Grace.
Natalia
And also,
Grace.
She was a child. She was not Durry munching adult pretending to be a child. Even though you like to perpetuate the myth that she was.
Oh, that's a very, very funny myth. Yeah, probably horrible story, but funny myth. At one point, the control changed to sexual abuse, with both John and Ethel trying to fondle her in bed.
Yuck.
Luckily,
cut it out, you ferals.
Patty's response to this was to become physically
Violent?
ill from the abuse.
Good on her.
And she'd vomit when they tried to abuse her. I'm assuming
Exorcist style,
the couple
360-degree vomit.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I think the couple were getting more pain from having to clean up the vomit than the pleasure they were getting from sexually abusing her.
And it sounds like the
abuse
sexual
stopped.
abuse was about control too. So, it's just another way to abuse her, control her.
Yeah. One article I read said that they didn't stop out of conscience, but because damaged property doesn't perform well. So they didn't want her being ill because she wouldn't be able to do her job properly.
Blech.
When the Rosses learned that there was a Broadway production of The Miracle Worker coming up, they decided that Patty would audition. So her training began. So do you know Helen Keller was the woman who was blind and deaf?
Yep.
Yeah. So for an entire year, Patty was instructed to wear a blindfold during training sessions where she learned to navigate rooms without sight.
You wouldn't have thought it made a great show for Broadway, would you?
No, I mean, not really.
For like, obvious content, but
Not a lot of singing and dancing. She had to eat without seeing food and to react to voices and touch instead of visual cues. When the auditions came around, Paddy got the part. As a 12-year-old, she opened in The Miracle Worker with a performance that was physically intense and emotionally raw. It was so powerful that critics were stunned. At 13, her name appeared above the title on the marquee, the first time a child actor received this honour on Broadway. And the show went on for 2 years, and Paddy won the Theatre World Aware for Most Promising Newcomer. Award. I think that is. Yeah. Typo. After this role, she was a shoo-in for the movie version that she won the Academy for.
But she didn't play Helen Keller in the movie. No, did she? No, it was the TV one. She came back as the teacher.
Yeah, the TV one. She was the teacher.
She got too old. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So the Rosses had made her a star, and Paddy made lots of money as a result.
And so did they, don't worry.
So the Rosses, I'm sure, yeah.
After many tumultuous years of living with the Rosses, Paddy Duke finally found an out. At 17 years old, she fell in love with Harry Falk Jr., then 31, an assistant director on the Paddy Duke Show. The Rosses weren't happy about the relationship and moved the series from New York to Los Angeles in an attempt to split the couple up. This only enraged Paddy, who moved into her own apartment and barred the Rosses from the set.
Good on her.
In 1965, just shy of her 19th birthday, the pair tied the knot. As an 18-year-old, she wanted control of her money, estimated to be in the vicinity of $1 million. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot for back then.
Would have been at that time, yeah.
When she went to get it, she only had $1,000 in savings bonds. Mm-hmm. She discovered that the Rosses had charged her exorbitant management fees and stolen from her to the tune of almost $1 million. Gosh. Living in her own apartment, Paddy realised that she didn't know how to be an adult, that she had no training or preparation from the Rosses.
She really was Natalia Grace.
She found life very tough and developed an eating disorder, dropping to a weight of 76 pounds, which is approximately 35 kilos. And she began drinking heavily and taking Valium.
Valley of the Dolls style, yeah.
She later estimated that she overdosed on Valium 8 times.
Shit.
The marriage to Falk didn't last, and the duo divorced in 1967. Following her divorce from Harry Falk Jr., Paddy Duke only spiralled further. 3 years after her split from Falk, a 23-year-old Duke began her affair with the 17-year-old Desi Arnaz Jr., the son of Lucille Ball.
Desi Ball. Desi
Arnaz. Although Lucille demanded her son stop seeing the troubled starlet, they remained together for several months. That same year, in June, a manic Paddy Duke impulsively wed Michael Tell, a rock promoter who had been subletting her apartment. The marriage lasted 13 days.
She sounds a bit like a Britney character.
Yeah, you can see some parallels for sure.
Yeah.
Just before the wedding, Paddy had just discovered she was pregnant. However, it came out that Paddy was having an affair with John Aston, who was playing Gomez Addams in the Addams family.
Sean's dad.
And this
really?
Yes, and he's now I just saw him on TV recently, and I didn't realise his pedigree because he's the director, the head of SAG. It's no longer called SAG. So the SAG Awards, which they would have had on TV just before the Academy Awards, you know how you've got like the BAFTAs.
Mm-hmm. Screen Actors Guild. Yeah.
So he is the head of that. I've forgotten what's it called, but not the chairman, but like the
president.
John is?
No, Sean.
Sean is.
John will be dead.
And so Sean gets up and says, "Oh, you know, obviously I know him just from the Goonies or whatever." But he says something about his family and all of these. And Paddy Duke would have been up there, but I didn't know who she was. They sort of had all this imagery behind him of all these people. I didn't know that, that Gomez is his dad. There you go.
So Paddy Duke's his mother is.
So he's real pedigree, really.
Yeah.
He's a president. There you go. He's a president of SAG.
Yeah.
After. Wow.
So, there you go. So Paddy concluded that the baby belonged to Aston, although it was later discovered that it was Tell's.
William.
Paddy and Aston later married in 1972, and Paddy found herself playing mum to her own son, Sean, who was a Tell.
How do you
along
play
with Aston's
mum to
three
your son?
sons, along with Aston's three sons from his previous marriage.
Okay, that
but
makes more sense.
Sean was a Tell, not an Aston.
Oh wow!
But
Before
don't
DNA
tell.
testing.
Do tell.
Did John Aston accept Sean as his?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
They're
go.
all in the family together. So yeah.
Hmm.
And I
They
think
have a brother. He has a half brother where it's the Paddy Duke and John Austen had a son called Mackenzie.
Another kid.
So the kid, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's two Austins or whatever with her.
Paddy later recalled, "It was terrible. I was a truly loving mum, but I didn't have the tools to do the job.
I didn't have
As
a
a
clue how to
result,
do
she
it.
would retreat to the bedroom and her tranquilizers."
Hmm.
Paddy also revealed that she had attempted suicide in 1967 and was again hospitalized for mental health problems in 1969,
Shame.
eventually being diagnosed as manic depressive in 1982. Her treatment, which included the use of lithium as medication and therapy, successfully stabilized her moods. She subsequently became an activist for mental health causes. She lobbied the US Congress and joined forces with the National Institute of Mental Health and the National Alliance on Mental Illness to increase awareness, funding, and research for people with mental illness. And probably the real highlight of her career in 2007, she appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show
Oh, right. Come on.
talking about her bipolar disorder. Eventually, Duke forgave the Rosses for their mistreatment and acknowledged they were in part responsible for her successful career. Over the course of her career, she received, just a recap, Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, 3 Emmy Awards in 10 nominations, and 2 Golden Globe Awards amongst 4 nominations. On August 17, 2004, she received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for her contribution to the motion picture industry. And on December 14, 2007, her 61st birthday, she was awarded an honorary doctorate in humane letters degree for the University of North Florida for her work in advancing awareness of mental health issues. On March the 6th, 2010, she was awarded an honorary doctorate in humane letters degree from the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. In March 2016, Paddy Duke died of sepsis from a ruptured intestine.
Oh, yuck. What an awful
She
way
was,
to go.
Ouch.
yeah, she was 69
Oh.
years old. Her
that's
son, Sean
sad.
Aston, invited the public to contribute to a mental health foundation in his mother's name, the Paddy Duke Mental Health Initiative. She wrote 3 books. Her autobiography, Call Me Anna, was published in 1987. Excellent title for someone who had
Yes.
her name stolen by
Yeah.
her adopted parents. Brilliant Madness, Living with Manic Depressive Illness, was published in 1992. And the third, In the Presence of Greatness, My 60-Year Journey as an Actress, published posthumously in February 2018. In her memoir, Call Me Anna, she explicitly stated that she experienced abuse and exploitation whilst living with the Rosses. She also said that this significantly impacted her life and career. Now, I don't follow celebrities and stardom, as you well know, but from my limited knowledge, Anna Marie Duke's story seems to be all too common for childhood stars who can
Yeah.
be forced into
Yeah.
a life that makes money for their caregivers.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst exploitation of children is a violation of human rights, and exploitation of child stars seems to be blurred by the trade-off between the abuse they incur and the fame and fortune that they often achieve. I'm interested in your thoughts on Anna's upbringing and whether you think there's a crime here that was never brought to trial. Over to you.
Well, of course it was a crime. It's almost kidnapping. And then, like sending the mother and father away, isolating this girl. The difficulty is that at the time, whether the Rosses decided she was their property, kids were kind of treated a bit like that,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it wasn't, it's
I
not
was
like
gonna
it
say, I
is
don't think it'd be
now.
that unusual. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, what's her name? Judy Garland and the bloke, the Mickey,
she do
Mickey,
Mickey
you're right.
Rooney.
Mickey
Mickey
Rooney, yeah.
Rooney. I did think I did his name came to mind, but I thought, did he? I don't know.
No, he did. They did quite a lot of stuff
They
together.
were very young, weren't they?
And they were very young. And I think they were both
Yeah.
also exploited, definitely. So
Yeah.
it was a bit of a pattern. It's like I said earlier about the casting couch too. Kids, half of them didn't even have proper educations. When you talk about
No.
her not having any life skills, her entire, like the way to be successful, and by the way, there would have been a lot of kids who never even became successful, but they had these stage parents or, managers, if you like, grooming them to be the next Judy Garland, etc. And they had no life skills. I mean, you go and look at historically, even kids like who were in the Goonies, Sean Astin, for instance.
Yeah.
and his friends. I think several of those. Is it River?
Phoenix.
No, not River Phoenix. Oh, he's a bit mad now.
Oh, you're not talking about the ones that have the same names. Yeah,
not Wackham.
The Coreys.
The Coreys.
Corey Feldman and Corey Haim.
Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. The Coreys,
yeah.
Feldman's still alive. Haim is no longer alive.
Yeah.
But Feldman speaks about the same sort of thing as well, which was much more about
abuse.
Pedophilia as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of abuse and you know, just being a property and being exploited for your talent, your success, your popularity, and just all these powerful adults taking from you in one way or the other.
I think
so
it's sort of
a crime.
Topical, timely, because over the last 2 weekends, Justin Bieber has performed at Coachella. Anyway, in the first weekend, initially he did this very sort of dialed back performance, and he was using his own computer with YouTube videos of him as like a child, and then he was singing along with himself. And so when it first came out, he was going, oh my God, it's ridiculous. You know, Sabrina Carpenter was on the night before and she had all these production values and it was incredible.
He might be
anyway,
making
people
a
have had time to sort of sit with it. And, you know, the next day people were going, hang on a tick, you have to see this for what is it. He's basically speaking to his younger self, and he's become this product that was, you know, singing beautifully on the internet when he was very young. Literally has been like, you know, the claw machine coming down, extracting him. And then that he's never had a moment since then where he hasn't been in a very public environment. And clearly has had breakdowns and whatever else, but has been commoditized, has had, you know, varying managers, different people, you know, involved in P. Diddy, you know, all that kind of stuff that you don't really know, but it's kind of him nodding to the fact that, you know, I heard it described as like he's kind of lived the ultimate Truman Show.
He's innocent.
Yeah.
Into his innocent self before all that happened.
Yeah, so people have actually said this might be a defining performance for this generation, in the sense that, you know, he was, again, what was it with Patty Duke? It's a different era. And that time they were literally to get to Hollywood and to, you know, produce this child as this perfect product. This is the new version of that. Do you know what I mean? This idea of being discovered, having a social media, but the constant media attention. Their private life is a public life. There's no such thing as any sort of boundaries anymore. Whereas historically, you saw what they wanted you to see. They did have a degree of privacy, right? I mean, most of them were unraveling behind the scenes and drug-addled and whatever else, and having all these, you know, tumultuous affairs and love lives and whatever. That's pretty much standard fare for everybody of that era. So in many ways, it hasn't really changed. It's just a slightly different vehicle. Terrible. You know, money and fame make people do bad things.
Even though you mentioned the Michael Jackson thing, just Michael Jackson, firstly, I can't understand how with all this cancel culture, Michael Jackson hasn't been cancelled for a start. But also then you go, okay, well, because maybe some people argue it's because he paid people off. He never went to court. It was never proven to do anything wrong. But there was a documentary, which I will admit I haven't seen, I've just heard about, of his victims who've spoken about their experience when they were taken there and left by their parents at Neverland.
Yeah.
For me, it's the responsibility of the parents as well. So, yes, you might say, oh, well, we were poor and we thought it would be good for our kid to become a starlet. I'm sure you did. But she would have had a more normal life. You know, she might have had successful relationships when she's older, not developed these illnesses. Now, she's done startling work. So this is one of those things. It's like would any of those things have happened? Would she have done great work for mental health and amazing performances if she hadn't been honed by a horrendous upbringing? But at the same time, we don't really want kids to go through horrendous upbringings. No. So, yes, the answer is there definitely is a crime, yeah.
The other bit, though, is like her mum wasn't in a good way. And if she stayed with her mum, would she have been abused or exploited without any of the...
Without even becoming a starlet.
Yeah. And so
you're on...
I think that
one
that
rough
trade-off,
track and now you're on another rough track.
Yeah, but you're going to end up with money or stardom, which somebody wants you to have. You know, it's complicated. It becomes, because there's a positive to it, it becomes less...
If she had just
offensive.
Been Sylvia Likand.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, drugged, sexually abused, kept in a dark room. Of course, it's clear cut, but because she's actually winning awards and making money, and how lucky is she? But yeah, like it's
What's funny is
so
I was
complex.
talking about Natalie Bassing. I can't say her name.
Bassingthwaite.
Thank you. On the radio today. Well, she was talking about her background. She's actually releasing a book, which is a memoir about her life, and she was talking about.
High.
There you go. She talked about some terrible things that happened to her when she was younger. Yes, and that she has basically done it's not a tell-all from what I heard from what she was saying. It's more a memoir. She's tried to be respectful of everyone in it, but it's her lived experience. She was talking about, she's like, everyone mucks up. And I'm like, I don't know that you mucked up as such. Like things happened and they were they were negative things, but, everyone's on a journey. But she was making this statement about how with the career side of things, same problem. Like you're kind of, once you're in the public eye, you haven't got your own, you haven't got your privacy. She'd had a lot of things happen before she became successful, basically, and then she's had mental health issues on and off as well. So it's sort of, to your point, Swanee, a similar thing. It's like once you hit the things that happened to her were not in relation, I believe, to her then becoming a successful artist. But these things happen, and then you're in an unreal world as well. So add that to it. That makes it even harder to cope with, I think.
Yeah, right.
The other thing is you look at, someone like Yelena Dokic or even I think the Williams sisters. I don't know a lot about the extent of the abuse, but I do know they were very good tennis players. And you wonder how many of those types of stories happen where they don't become incredible tennis players, but they get all of the abuse.
Without the success. That was expected.
All the
of them
wannabes,
as well.
absolutely.
Yeah, and the wannabe parents who are pushing their kids, and in how many different child activities does that happen? I mean, God, you look at the beauty pageants, and I find that
ballet.
An indictment on
all of it.
Adults. Like,
I also think in this day and age also there's too many of these activities that kids are signed up for. Like when I was a kid.
Way too many.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we maybe did tennis once a week on a Sunday after church. And then when I got into doing theatre, that was on me. I chose to do that. And I had to go to rehearsals and stuff. And I had a flute lesson. But I wasn't doing tennis anymore. Like it was like one thing. Once a week. Yeah. And now, like I've got people who work for me with kids and they are taking them everywhere. I mean, Swanee, you're a prime example of the
way parents
kids
do
to this, that, the other. Not now, but when you were young, when the kids were
totally.
Younger.
When they
and
were,
you had three of them and they had three different interests, right? So that makes it worse.
There's a window where that does happen. You're right. There's one point, it seems to hit a point where they're trying a little bit of everything and then it kind of, little by little, something has to drop and whatever else, and then they end up doing bugger all.
They come and they do a theatre, they audition for a show and then they say, we can't really commit.
But I can't do this,
and I've got this and I've got this and I've got this. And you're like.
Yeah, well, you can't make it. You can't commit.
And I've said that. Well, then thanks for auditioning, but you can't be in the show.
Commit. Yeah.
Yep, because I'm not having you come in and then we set things and then you're gone.
Yeah, and I don't need it for someone who needs it for their CV. You don't want to say, I'm also doing this and I do a bit of that. It's like you're either really interested in it. Well, no, but they would be. No, but they would be. They would be, Schmidt. Of course they would. That's how you get like all these extracurricular. That's why people do it, because it was not a thing. It was not the focus when we were younger.
No.
And now everyone's trying to find a point of difference and whatever else. And it's like the way that it's sort of, usually handled by parents, particularly ones that are very sort of eager for their children to succeed, is to go hard on all that extracurricular stuff to the point where it becomes their identity in their life.
And there it is. Yeah. So exactly kind of back to this point, this isn't just about Hollywood children or
not at all.
Music industry.
And it's not even that. I can think of one mother in particular who's an educated and, impressive woman in her own right, but has got a number of children, quite a few. And her whole feed is about her doing this sort of, woe be me, I'm at another fixture. Oh, woe be me, here another season. Here we go. It's like, lady, you fucking love it. You are living vicariously through these children.
I've never showed up to
She just
anything.
wants one of them. You sound like my husband. Jeremy's like, oh my God. No one turned up to watch us do anything. He talks about a teacher that used to turn up. He talks
My
about a
dad
teacher.
never saw me at
Yeah,
anything.
he talks about a teacher, let alone parents, with a teacher, if it was raining when they were at footy, he would sit in his car and he'd use his blinkers to indicate what was happening. He goes, the teachers couldn't even be fucked, let alone our parents turning up. There was no big,
Oh, that's brilliant.
you're in the C's, the D's. I don't care. If you're in the first, yeah, maybe, fair enough. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. Oh, my God. When people ask me if I go, I'm like, no. If my kids wanted me to go, that kind of stuff. And when I did ballet, my parents read everything that, they needed
My
to be
mum
out.
was much better with the grandchildren. She went to all of Anina's ballet concerts. I can tell you how many ballet concerts I've been to for Anina. One this year.
Oh.
Yeah, she's 20-something.
Well,
She's
there you
now
go.
teaching ballet as well. But,
yeah,
I went and saw one this year, and she's very good.
Yeah.
I've always heard that she's very good.
That's
but
fine.
Ballet's not really my thing.
No.
I did it myself as a child, not my thing.
Yes.
Anyway, so, yes, the stage mother or the pushy parent
Dance moms is like the new version of stage moms.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's her name? Miss Abby? Miss Abby?
Don't know.
There's a show called Dance Moms, which is like basically a pageant style kind of.
I'll have a go at binging that
American.
while I'm lying in my bed recovering for 6
Abby
weeks.
Lee.
Yeah.
Abby Lee. Yeah, that's shocking. Yeah, there'd be mums in there that would like probably make the Rosses
look nice and
Well,
kind.
maybe that's a bit fair. Now I can't really say that because if they were sexually abusing you and drugging you and stuff,
well, that
I'm
was
not
gross,
suggesting that do that.
And that's terrible, obviously. But the bit that probably stuck with me more was that she slept in the hallway.
I know.
She didn't even have a room. Like, just what?
I couldn't work out
Just
if that
control.
was because they didn't have a spare room back then, or whether they did, but they just were absolutely using it to control her. The way it was written sounded like there was at least another room, but they just didn't want her to have her own space.
Not initially, but they were getting a lot of money out of her at some point. Surely they could have got her a room.
I think that was definitely a control thing. And there was one thing you said that I wasn't sure where they were. If they said they were trying to get rid of her New York accent, were they in New York? Because if they were in an apartment in New York, then maybe that's true.
So
but I didn't know where they were, if they were in Hollywood or...
I think they were in New York, but I think they were trying to groom her for that whole LA
Hollywood
kind of... Yeah.
That would make
or at
sense.
least to have a transatlantic accent.
That would make sense if she ended up on Broadway if they were in New York, because that's a very, that's what people who grow up in New York want to do. And then they go to Hollywood kind of thing, but they still love being on Broadway and whatever else.
Which is kind of what she did.
Yes. Yeah. Which that she had that big breakthrough.
I just think, for me, the best punishment, I mean, you kind of see it also in all these disgusting fake generations of these shows that fake generate stars like X Factor and The Voice and all that. Like, those people come along, they get exploited for whatever the period of the show is. You never hear from them again. Like, there's a few that have done all right, but in the grand scheme, and certainly in this nowadays, like those early ones, maybe.
Now wouldn't have a clue, right?
No. So it's just so much exploitation of people, especially in the arts, because it's so hard to get a good career out of it.
Yep.
It's just a racket.
I think the other thing is you need shit people to funnel the good people through. So, like, if you're looking at any kind of a team sport and they're looking for good players, they need to all have them go somewhere and play together, but they have to have shit players around them. So those sort of big machines like AFL or NRL or any of those want to draft as many people as they can because they pay they have to pay a fee which goes back to the AFL, but then I think it helps run a bigger competition to give everyone more experience, more opportunity to grow. So you need people who are never going to make it. It's not like everyone who goes to those things is going to be great.
One thing I will say for leagues, though, because professionally I have a bit of exposure to an AFL and an NRL club, and one of the things that I can say is that they are very aware that a lot of the people who come up through their academies won't end up having major careers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our connection, right, from an education perspective. So we actually work with them to provide information and in some cases training to kids in the academy or even some of their current players because they're not going to play beyond 35 or something. And
If
they've got
they're
to have
lucky.
some kind of career fallback, and not everyone's going to end up being a TV presenter either.
No.
Or,
No,
in
but
the old
if you-
days, remember they used to all be landscape gardeners, the AFL players.
Oh, well, you did
Yeah.
well in Melbourne.
Back in the late
Is that a
80s,
Melbourne
90s?
thing? Is that
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
so
if
funny.
you
kind of
put that into the context of 10-year-old kids, parents running everywhere, there's people going, you should go. The next step for your kid is to go and do this. So they end up driving them all around the country to go and play in different clubs or competitions or whatever.
True, but I'm saying those bigger clubs are aware, though, that they're not all going to get into it, and they've got programs that they're fostering.
Not
to
at that.
try and
Not at that
support-
age.
Not at the young age. No.
Yeah, and so in the context of that kind of child abuse and parents trying to push their kids to do things, no one's going, just don't do that. Your kid's shit.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you go back to your definition. You go back to your definition of child abuse, and your expectation is it's physical abuse. Like belting kids or not letting them have food or do sorts of. There is a question also if you are overstimulating your kid by doing all of those things, and maybe their academic work is suffering or whatever because you think they'd be the next AFL star. Where does that sit with?
You're setting them up for a massive failure too. Like,
but you
rip
could
the
be neglecting
Band-Aid
them
off,
too.
weed them out, tell them they're shit when they're younger.
I mean, this is coming from Paul and I who don't have children and have no experience in parenting, so we're not really people to judge, but we will judge anyway.
But when we grew up, they didn't encourage you. I didn't tell you were good at everything. They'd be going, you know what, that's
My
not really
mum
for
told me
you.
I was shit at everything, absolutely.
Right? Yeah,
Even
yeah.
the stuff I was good at, she told me I was shit at it.
I know, I recall. But yeah, it's funny that we're not like that now. And there's got to be a healthy balance, I think, to go, you're actually...
There are some things you're good at and some things you're not good at.
Yeah.
And don't invest your time in the stuff that's you're probably not good at, unless it's just a love, like this podcast.
Yeah, good call.
It's just a hobby like this. Oh, that was a good story. Any further comments, anyone?
No.
I mean, Hollywood's got a lot to answer for.
It does. Absolutely.
I don't know the appropriate crime for it, but my God, what a machine of just...
But it's been going on
Child
for decades
abuse.
and decades and decades.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, I agree.
And it's interesting. I was going to raise it before, but it's sort of a bit left of field. But you know how there's, on Facebook, of course, some people assert that in the Epstein files there's evidence of Hollywood A-listers eating babies and shit like that.
God, really?
Yeah, I don't think there is actually evidence of it. I haven't seen any actual evidence of it.
I'm just surprised people are asserting that.
Well, they are. No, because there's been a conspiracy theory for a long time that people like Hillary Clinton and Ellen DeGeneres and stuff are on some kind of was it like pizza, something to do with pizza or something, that they go to this pizza place and they all eat babies and I don't know. It's like a cult. There's a suggestion that all these elite type people are successful because they're part of this terrible cult.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. I just hadn't heard of it.
It's absolute. Well, in my mind, I'd like to think it's absolute nonsense because...
Such nonsense.
Well, I'd hope to think it is. But then again, the amount of nefarious shit that Epstein and his cronies did, who knows, right? But maybe it's not so much that there's evidence of actually eating babies, but this whole mechanism eats the innocence of babies. And,
and
so
ruining babies.
Is it more of an allegory or allegorical story or a... what am I trying to say,
a South
Swanee?
Park episode.
What's the word I'm looking for, Swanee? Not an allegory, symbolic. Maybe it's more symbolic. The eating of innocence is a symbolic thing, metaphorical, as opposed to actually eating babies. But who knows, right?
Mm.
When the other 3 million files get released, we might find out that babies have been eaten. No idea.
Redacted or unredacted?
Well, we'll never know the truth until it's unredacted. That's right. Anyway, on that note... as we say every week, miss you already.
Ciao.
Ciao. Thanks for listening to Trial by Wine. You can contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. Please rate, review and subscribe to Trial by Wine on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support us, you can become a patron at www.patreon.com, Trial by Wine. Or visit our website, www.trialbywine.com, to donate to us. Your support will help us cover many more cases and apply wacky sentences. We really appreciate you listening and hope you tell everyone about us. Our cover art is by John Christo and music is by Beauchamp from pixabay.com.